Don't worry. This is actually a different video, okay? U.S. policing racist and can't be reformed, as according to Representative Rashida Tlaib, that she made these goofy-ass statements about a week ago, has faced absolutely no accountability for doing something this stupid. And that's just the headline. It dives a little bit deeper. But there is a theme that's kind of running through today, okay? It's the abolition of institutions. Institutions that are central to Western society, to the Anglo-Saxon tradition, which is so scary to say, apparently, if you're trying to make a fucking ill-conceived Republican caucus. Man, there's just no spines left there. But I'll show you what you can get away with if you're on the right side of the aisle, if you have the right ideology to adhere to. Rashida Tlaib, a Democrat from Michigan, took to Twitter Monday evening to call for an end to policing in the United States as we know it, claiming it's intentionally racist and can't be reformed. Tlaib's comments come after the killing of 20-year-old black man Daunte Wright, who was shot Sunday by an officer during a traffic stop in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. Police saying the shooting was accidental. Yeah, because she thought she was holding a taser. Oh God, I fucking shot him. I thought we could just handle this right here in Brainerd. It wasn't an accident. Oh, thank you, Judge Tlaib. Policing in our country is inherently and intentionally racist. It had nothing to do with race, but because it's a black man, these fucking idiots just hone in on a one immutable characteristic and therefore ascribe motive rather. I wish they'd ascribe modem mostly to their temple. Daunte Wright was met with aggression and violence. Daunte Wright presented aggression and violence as how you should have worded that, but I don't constantly have this vacuous look on my face either. Police released body camera footage of the incident showing Wright resisting arrest by police who were carrying out a warrant. There you go. I bet you she didn't know that. She probably just once again got the little narrative. She just got the little bit of media coverage that it received. They didn't see the fact that he had an outstanding warrant, that he skipped out on a fucking Zoom hearing. He couldn't be asked to hop on his goddamn phone. I'm holding a fucking universal remote. No, but he couldn't be asked to fucking do that. Therefore, a bench warrant was put out for his arrest. He was driving around with expired plates. He didn't have an air freshener in his fucking rearview mirror, which is still the dumbest shit ever that the blue and on types are out there pushing, which are going to be out in full force. Oh, you fucking goddamn better believe it over the next couple of years. God, I'm praying for a Trump DeSantis 2024 ticket. God, that'll make him fucking melt down. But no, that kind of ideological narrative, just taking the little piece that you want to see, that is exactly what led to what happened with the first video of the day, with the conviction of Derek Chauvin. All they seen was just the 9 minutes and 28 seconds of the knee on the neck. They didn't see anything else outside of that, and therefore, everything is racist. Everything is police brutality, and you gotta call it out. Ugh. Hennepin County medical examiner ruled Wright's death a homicide. Durr. An unnatural death caused by somebody else? You don't say. The city's police chief told reporters he believes the officer who shot Wright mistakenly drew her gun thinking it was a taser. I am done. Here we go. We're back to the statements. I am done with those who condone government-funded murder. Keep that in mind the next time that a war comes about and she's going to have to vote in favor for it, because that's what her blue side is all about. Tlaib added, no more policing, incarceration, and militarization. It can't be reformed. Okay, well, tear down the fencing and remove the National Guard from Washington, D.C., and we'll be fair. I agree to your terms. No more militarization. And you know what? Yeah, fuck it. We'll just open up the prisons. Cool. Guess what? They're going to get homes in Dearborn, Michigan. Is that where you're from? Is that where your constituents is? And Washington, there's a lot of low-income housing there. I'm pretty sure that you'd love to have rapists and murderer in your neighborhood. Now, I'm sure that wouldn't affect you whatsoever. And policing, yeah, you're just also going to have to give up your public security detail. How about that? Agree to those terms? Huh? Fucking bitch. Tlaib's comment to end policing was criticized on Twitter, with people noting that the Capitol, where she works, has been a heavy police presence in additional fencing since January 6th. Kimberly Klacik, unfortunately, is not a congresswoman right now. An African-American who ran for Congress in 2020 from the city of Baltimore, Maryland, called out Tlaib for her comment. Another way to say I can't afford to live in a completely safe neighborhood, and I don't care about those who can't afford to move, wrote Klacik. A based response. But how about Maxine Waters, right? Okay. Yesterday, there was a bunch of posturing by Kevin McCarthy. He heard the hearings. He's the leader of the minority in the House of Representatives. Okay, he was going to bring forth legislation to hold Maxine Waters accountable, even though he doesn't have the votes. Even though, you're going to draft articles of impeachment or something, you're going to do something substantial. No, we're going to censure her. What do you fucking do, dude? Who gives a shit? It's more impactful when it comes from your own party. It means that your party has lost faith in you, okay? If Congress censures Maxine Waters, who's been around since the fucking early 90s, what does that really prove, okay? Ooh, her vote still means the same. Oh, she won't be the head of the fucking financial committee. Ooh. Okay, so now she'll have more time for her activism. Is she still going to be in the House of Representatives? So what the fuck are you actually doing? But don't worry, we won't have to discuss any of that because, Democrats blocked McCarthy's motion to censure Maxine Waters for confrontational remarks in Minnesota. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. When you're a Democrat, you can get away with saying anything you want, including praising the death of George Floyd in order to get justice. Fucking what? Is there like a 4-drink minimum to get into the House of Representatives? I don't get it. Like, do you have to do a keg stand in order to get your Congress pin? Is this where we're at? Fuck me. GOP leader Kevin McCarthy introduced a privileged resolution on the House floor Tuesday to censure Maxine Waters for controversial comments in Minnesota protesters over the weekend, urging them to get more confrontational. That was the least of what she said. If ex-Minneapolis cop Derek Chauvin is not found guilty of the death of George Floyd. Actually, she also said if he wasn't found guilty of murder in the first degree. But Democrats moved quickly to table the resolution in a 216 to 210 party line vote and avoided taking the vote directly on whether the formally reprimand the longtime California Congresswoman. Speaker Pelosi and every other House Democrat had the opportunity to condemn the violent rhetoric of our colleague, Representative Bitch. Or as Nick DiPaolo puts it, a basset hound in a James Brown wig. It's fucking great. And senior member of Congress to protesters to get more confrontational, McCarthy said in a statement after his censure resolution failed. So yes, now he gets to grandstand on his failed legislation. Good for you, Kevin McCarthy. You are fucking worthless. Instead, they condoned it, and the House and our justice system are worse off because of it. Yeah, very much so. And especially the people of the 43rd District of California, whoever are dumb enough or dead enough to vote for Maxine Waters. So like I said in the previous video, when you're a Democrat, you can get away with saying anything functionally retarded, okay? And I'm also not going to let Tim Scott off the hook because he says this right in the sidebar. I'm not going to pull it up. Senator Tim Scott, other Republicans lodge Chauvin murder conviction. Our justice system is getting more just. You, my friend, are wrong. But he's also black, and eventually, not that long from now, it'll probably be illegal for anybody who is white to criticize anybody who is not white. Or if you're a man, to criticize a woman. So I'm going to have to start pulling out a transgender card, and I'm also going to have to start playing the quarter native card a lot more. So, I don't know. These statements they've been going on forever. She's made dumb comments about the Rodney King riots, justifying those as well. We all remember everything that she was saying in early 2017 about accosting anybody who was in Trump's cabinet, telling them they aren't welcome here because, I don't know, this is a bus in Alabama in the fucking 30s or 40s. I don't know, maybe you just have to be a really old, ornery Jew who's probably the best lawyer right now. Listen, I'm pretty partial to Robert Barnes, but if you're Alan Dershowitz and you're still out here fucking beating the path and doing a great job, you can make these statements, and I love it. Maxine Waters' tactics borrowed precisely from the Ku Klux Klan. It's great to see Democrats returning to their roots. Tuesday on Newsmax TV, Stitchfield, sure. Harvard law professor emeritus Alan Dershowitz, he's got that distinguished title for right now. I'm sure Harvard's probably working on something to repeal that from him. Addressed Maxine Waters' tactics amid the Chauvin trial, saying she is trying to influence and intimidate the jury. Exactly. That's why if we get eventually a retrial in the, next few years. But we could also be looking back at this time as the good old days, back when people had buildings and homes to live in that aren't rubble. And Dershowitz has been just an absolute quote machine in the past couple of days. If you haven't seen anything that he's been saying, it's been fairly spicy. But this is chief criticism among the knowledge he's been dropping. First of all, the judge should have granted the motion for a mistrial based on the efforts of Congresswoman Waters to influence the jury. Great guy. And it's not like his analysis isn't just warranted or comes from just some doddering old fool from the past. No, he's still active in trial. He has a laundry list of successful verdicts on his side of the aisle. And if you forget, he was also a part of O.J. Simpson's dream team. So he knows a thing or two about rigging the system. Back to his statements. Her message was clearly intended to get the jury, if you will acquit, or if you will find these charges less than murder, we will burn down your buildings. We will burn down your businesses. We will attack you. We will do what happened to the witness, blood on their door. Yeah, in reference to Barry Broad. Yeah, his former home was smeared with pig blood and pig's head, and then a statue in the neighborhood in California. So, of course, crazy shit happens in California. Who could have expected anything else? This was an attempt to intimidate the jury. It borrowed precisely from the Klan of the 30s and 20s, when the Klan would march outside a courthouse and threaten all kinds of reprisals if the jury ever dared to convict a white person or acquit a black person. Wow. It's almost like he was gazing into the future with what happened today, because huge crowd outside of the courthouse. And so efforts to intimidate a jury should result in a mistrial, with the judge, of course, wouldn't grant a mistrial, because then he'd be responsible for the riots that would ensue, even though it was Waters who was responsible. Exactly. When you're a Democrat, or when you're a woman, or if you're a person of color, she is literally the perfect microcosm of anybody who is looking for excuses to get away with stupid, potentially insightful statements. She has every card that you can pull in the book. Oh, and she's also old and mentally compromised. So, hey, you can fucking get away with anything. He predicted Chauvin would be convicted at least on the charge of manslaughter, but believes it will go to the Court of Appeals. Yeah, I could have read this in the previous video, but it was getting pretty long in the tooth. So now, if there is a conviction, and I think that there will be a conviction at least the manslaughter charge, the issue will go to the Court of Appeals, he advised. And will be the Court of Appeals have the courage to reverse a conviction on the ground that the jury was subjected to intimidation tactics not only by Waters, but others as well, who threatened violence in the event of an acquittal or a lesser charge than murder. Or if we even just go back to what Rashida Tlaib was saying, that the system of policing is intentionally racist, it can't be reformed, and that you need to burn everything down. I would say that that's intimidation, but that could also just be the rhetoric going forward as they start to round up conservatives, put them on train cars, and then ship us off to re-education camps. Don't worry, up here in Canada, I'll be able to let you guys know what to expect in the future, because we are descending quickly, oh so quickly, into a fucking hellhole. But enough about things that are adjacent to the Derek Chauvin conviction today. We got something a little bit different, but we're going to be staying in the courtroom. But we're going to be discussing a divorce, because when you're a man, buddy, do you get raped? Not in a traditional way, but the court system is out to get you, and you hate to see it, but it is a little bit funny, and it might serve as a wake-up call, and we might get something out of it. Highly doubtful, because the judiciary is so totally fucked. Anyways, guys, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.